Hey you guys, I want to talk about something really quickly. I mean, this is just one of those spur of the moments. It came to mind, so I'm going to get it up really quickly. It's not anything fancy. I'm not even going to edit the video. But it's something that's on my mind. It happened just now, and I think it's worth sharing with others because I know there are a lot of other people going through something like this, suffering from something like this, confused, living in chaos over it. Sorry, I just woke up, just got some coffee. And that would be the topic of addiction, okay? Just to make it short, I'm not going to go all into everything in this video. I do have a topic and a point. Before I get into it, though, I was raised into a family of addicts. My father was one, all of my siblings. I myself had other addictions growing up, but I was in a lot of therapy. Unfortunately, I did not get addicted to substances. I fought very hard. I avoided things like that until I was very late in age. My children were already grown, and I did develop a 3-year opiate addiction. And I ended up going to a special program, a medically assisted program to get off of that. I will be going into that in the future. But I've also, on the flip side, I've dealt with addicts all of my life, severe addicts. Addicts who have had so many years behind them that their entire mentality, their entire way of operating. You know, when addiction to substances starts to sacrifice your integrity, it starts, those of you who know, it can make people steal from their own mother. It can make people, I won't say the word, but it can make people do really horrible things. So they just become different people. They really do. And I think it's also a spiritual thing. That's just me. I'll be going into that later as well. I know what science and psychology says, and biologically, I know how it all works. And I'm educated on that, but I also believe it is a deep-rooted spiritual problem within inside of a person. Usually trauma-based. I'm going to get into that in later videos too. I mean, probably 98% of people who are addicted to substances have some kind of unresolved trauma in their past. Be it a parent died, be it they were abandoned, be it they were abused as children, they lost something. But a large percentage of people who are addicts to substances have unhealed, unresolved trauma. We also have the genetic factor. We have peer pressure factors. I'm currently attending classes right now learning about a lot of different aspects of this. I also attend meetings, and I've had plenty of years of experience working with addicts because I grew up in a family like that. And then much, 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 much later on, I myself became one. So, and I've been recovering from that for the last almost 4 years. So, and mine was a short stint compared to what can happen with addiction, but I will go into that in a future video. I saw it coming. I knew. I had seen it all of my life. It's taken my family members. I've seen horrible things happen. And so I knew I didn't want to stay in that shape any longer and take that chance. I didn't want to let it get so far out of control that I feared I could never get back. Now, the point I want to make real quickly today, I know a lot of people have mixed feelings on addicts. I know a lot of people have addicted relatives. I know there's a lot going on with it, and I do too. I suffer from a cognitive dissonance, a torn feeling all of the time with my relatives, my partner, someone I've been involved with off and on for 6 years. Some of my closest people are heavily addicted, and I suffer, from loving them and also being very disappointed by them on a regular basis, very angry with them sometimes. That is why Al-Anon is also very important, and having a support system if you are close to someone who's heavily addicted, because you will have all kinds of torn feelings. And you've got people on the outside of that situation that are going to tell you all kinds of things. Oh, just cut that off, drop them off on the curb, and leave them. If it's a partner or even a family member, I wouldn't put up with that for a second. They need tough love. Then you have people on the flip side of that coin. Oh, you shouldn't talk to them that way. You should help them every day. Life is short. Show them you love them. Absolutely. I believe all those things. You should show people that you care about, that you love them every day. You should find a way to be kind to them and find peace with them. But I'll tell you one thing. An addict moves in a whole different type of vibe. They operate and they move differently than other people. And a lot of times they are not going to appreciate the help you're giving them. They're not going to appreciate the love you're giving them. A lot of times they have a lot of unresolved issues that they need to be either in therapy for or in drug rehabilitation, alcohol rehabilitation. And a lot of times they will actually be resenting the help that you're giving to them. Yep. A lot of times you'll be going out of your way, taking them in, making their bed, folding their clothes, buying their food, fixing their plate, just really transporting them to whatever they need to do, just really hoping, that's something to get into. That's your investment. That's you hoping that they're going to do for you. They're going to get up and make those changes. And a lot of us do that. We hope that they're going to change their lives or whatnot. But a lot of times you could be doing that and they're actually resenting you, hating you, because they're hating themselves in the moment. I have absolute insight into this because I have a brother who tells me so. I studied this hardcore. Not only have I walked through it myself for a short period a few years ago, but again, I grew up in it. Even to this day, I have all different directions and different types of people who are addicted, who tell me their stories, who tell me what they're thinking, what they're feeling about the people that are helping them, how they feel in their head, how they feel trapped. And one male family member that I'm very close to tells me all the time how he feels so small inside, but he cannot break himself off of his mother's help. And she goes out of her way to help, but he hates himself for it. And that will create a rage and an anger in a person. So sometimes you guys may be confused if you're close to an addict, why they don't seem to appreciate your help. Why are they so nasty? Why are they just taking the help and treating you like crap, talking to you like crap? When you're showing love to them, you're doing what you can. It's because that type of behavior with an addict is a different ball game. What you would do and show love for a normal person who would appreciate it, take the help, do well with their life, and say, thanks, that's enough. And addicts can't do that. They are going to keep coming back for more and more and more and more help. And they have a different mindset going on in their brain. And so it is called enabling. That is what it becomes when you are helping an addict. It's different from when you are helping a healthy-minded person. An addict does not have a healthy mind state. So it becomes enabling at that point. And what you're doing with all of that overboard help, you're enabling that addict to continue living in that addict lifestyle, not giving them the opportunity to get uncomfortable enough to take a look at the lifestyle they're living and maybe want to change it. So the more we enable, that's what it's called, when you go out of your way to make an addict so comfortable, so well fed, so taken care of, no consequences, no boundaries, that they don't have a reason in the world to look up and go, man, I really hate what I'm doing to myself. It's really uncomfortable. That's why it's enabling. And so there's a lot of confusion that goes on when we are dealing with hardcore and severe addicts. Yes, lots of mixed feelings. So anyway, to the main point before I jump off of here. Earlier, I was talking with a male friend of mine's mother. This male friend is a heavy addict. And he just recently went back into rehabilitation. Thank goodness. And his mother said something to the effect of she was disappointed that he went back to the particular place that he went back to because they failed to help him last time. Now, let's take a look at that statement. When she said that, this was in a message, but when I saw that, I'm disappointed that he went back there because they failed to help him last time. Stop right there. When I saw that, it even triggered me because I knew the truth. I know the truth of addiction. I know the truth, okay? And the truth is, You can go anywhere you want to go, to any corner of this earth, to the best treatment facilities, to the worst treatment facilities, and all in between. They all have a little different curriculums. Some are a little more hard on you. Some have more rules, more boundaries, hardcore curriculum, take no shit. Some are a little tougher. Some are, just so comforting, and they have nurses there to pat you night and day, and sing songs and do groups, and they all have the basic same core curriculum. Is to help get you some life skills, some coping skills, get to the root of your issues, and help you rehabilitate your drug and alcohol issues. But she said, I'm disappointed because they failed to help him last time. Okay, let me say something here. Again, you can go anywhere you want, to any treatment facility you want on this earth. And yes, some are better than others. However, I knew the situation. I knew what was going on behind the scenes. And I let her know, listen, you need to get some perspective on this. A lot of times the older generations, they don't understand the manipulation of an addict. They take the addict's word at face value a lot of times, or they don't understand how the process of addiction and how it really works. So, you've got a lot of addicts out there that are living with elderly family members. These people are confused. They don't know what's going on. I can't tell you how many times a couple of elderly family members have called me up to say, does this sound right? I'm very confused. I don't know what to trust. I love so-and-so and so-and-so, but I absolutely don't know, if I can trust them or if they're going to bully me into what they want. Does this sound right to you? Yes, that happens. And that's where I draw the fucking line. That's where I stop and go, whoa. When it starts affecting other people that drastically, especially the elderly people and what have you, that's it. That's it. That's where it's time for you to get some help. It's time for you to go ahead and face what you don't want to face. Okay? And so when she said that to me, it really triggered me because I knew the truth. And I let her know, this is how we teach people. We may not want to hurt their feelings. We may not want to show any type of, conflict, or we don't want to correct people or anything. They are entitled to be disappointed all they want to be. But I feel it's our job as humans also to make others aware of things they're not aware of. And it can help change their perspective and give them some insight into the truth. And I said, listen, you need to understand, it's not the program that failed to help your son. Okay? That is not what happened. Until a person wants to get the help, until a person is absolutely sick of the life they're living, until they are open arms, I want this knowledge, I want this program to work, I am so ready to take in this knowledge, I'm ready to make everything out of it and use it wisely. Until they're ready for that, there is no program on this earth that can help them. So I need to go ahead and let you know. Let me go ahead and let you know today. A lot of these parents out here are being manipulated. A lot of the grandparents are being manipulated. And I knew that was what was going on because I know this person very well. And I know the program they were in. And I know it's a great program. It's very tough. It's very tough. Challenging. It holds people accountable, teaches a sense of accountability, life coping skills, integrity, all of that. That's what they need. I'm just saying, I know the program and I know how many different programs the person had been to. And if you're going to look at it like that, then all of them failed. All of them have failed. When you see something like that going on, rehab after rehab after rehab, I can't tell you how many of my addict friends have told me, I was in 22 rehabs before I decided to get clean. Okay, a lot of the elderly people and the older generation, they don't understand this process. It is not the fault of the rehab facility or the places that these people go to get help. It is not on them. 22 rehabs. A lot of times addicts will be in many different programs until they decide to get clean. They really want it. Until it's life and death, something happens, and it might be their 10th rehab. It might be their 20th. But that particular time, If it works out for them and they stay clean that time, it is not because all the other rehabs sucked. Yeah, give or take. They're all going to be a little different. One might have better food. One might have a little better curriculum. One might have, they're going to be different. But all in all, it will not be because all the other rehabs that person ever went to sucked. No, ma'am. Ooh, and that triggered me because if you see things that way, imagine how you're seeing other things. If you see it as all the other rehabs failed, and it wasn't because just this particular time, 10 rehabs later, this person finally decided that they were going to work this for real. They were going to quit manipulating and ducking and dodging and bucking and using every opportunity to get out of it and make it look like they had been victimized and thrown out. And okay, that is what's going on. It is only when a person decides they want it. They want that shit to get well. Okay? It is not the fault of the rehab facility. It is not that they are letting that person down. If anything, the addict is letting the program down, because they'll do a lot of times any kind of twist and maneuver they can to get thrown out or to leave or to get out and not come back, or to, there are certain rules there that they have to follow, and a lot of them will mess it up on purpose and then tell their family, I got kicked out. That place was so bad to me. They just didn't understand. Listen, I've been manipulated by addicts for years. I grew up with addicts. My father, my siblings. I fell into addiction at one point. I know what the manipulation's all about. But I never wanted to let my brain be involved in that long enough to where that became my whole way of thinking forever. And I lived with, I had alcoholic relationships. I had, different relationships in my life. I've been around addicted friends. I know the fucking ropes, okay? And I was in a very long-term relationship with someone who I just lived it day in and day out. And it got to the point where every time he said something, I would have to go, oh, okay. Okay, so what actually happened? Because that's how they are. They don't want to face up to the truth. They're ashamed. They don't want to face consequences. And they will always put a spin on it. Well, they victimized me. They weren't kind to me. They threw me out. And if you really stop them and go, okay, what really happened? If you really stop and get to the root of it, they did something that wasn't following the rules. They did something that got them put out of there, or they twisted it somehow. And that's just how it is. And a lot of times you'll see these older grandparents and other family members of that person suffering, confused. Well, they told me that, this is just what's happening to them. That is not the truth, and that is not right. So, just some perspective for you guys. If you're dealing with addiction in your family or anyone close, just know how it is. It is not the fault of people outside of the addict, but the addict is very good at making everyone else in the world take responsibility for them. Okay? Hang on to that. And it just made me think, oh my God, if that's the way she sees it, that they let him down last time, she's disappointed he went back there because they failed to help him last time. They let him down last time. If that's the way she sees it, then I wonder how, how she sees everything else in the world. Is it everyone else's fault when her son fails? Is it everyone else's fault in every other circumstance? Because that's terrible for the partner of an addict or anyone else. If people are viewing it like, oh, you're close to that person, they didn't get better while they were with you. So, it's the same thing. It's not your fault. It is not anyone else's fault. It's the addict that's choosing to do all of that. It's not who they're around they can go out and be around toxic people, and hell, they'll never get well. That will slow down their progress. But what I'm saying is, it's the same thing as saying, oh, well, Billy Bob or Jackie Sue, girl or guy, married 2 or 3 times, and all those years she was just so addicted and she never could get clean. And then she got with Mr. Jackson over here, and all of a sudden, she's been clean ever since. She decided to get her life together. And so all those other husbands of hers must have been terrible for her. They let her down. They failed to help her. No, 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 no. It doesn't work like that. That is, no. That lets the addict get away scot-free. Also, the narcissist does that same thing. Okay? And the same for a male or female. Oh, well, he was married 2 or 3 times and none of those marriages worked out, and he never could get clean and sober. And now that he's with so-and-so, he's decided to change his life. All of those other people in his life were irrelevant. They must have never tried as hard as the new girl. They must have been no good. That is not the right fucking perspective. That's what the addict wants you to think. That's what a narcissist wants you to think. It is no one's job outside of that addict to be responsible for their well-being, for their healing, for their recovery. 9 times out of 10, what happened was the fucking person got too fucking old to run around acting foolishly anymore, and they just happened to get their shit together with this 4th wife. Not that the other ones weren't good, not that the other ones didn't try, but they'll damn sure try to make you believe that shit. Or 9 times out of 10, for the addict, it was just at that particular point in their life, they decided they'd had enough. They just so happened to be married to a new person at that time. See, that's how it works. It's all dependent upon them making up their mind that they finally want to get help and let their marriage work out and work on things. They were responsible for those past marriage failures. They were just as much responsible as the other party, okay? So I'm just saying, we've got to have perspective on this stuff. And we've got to realize how manipulative some addicts can be and how they can really distort reality and have people fooled. And I just don't like it where blame is placed on an innocent party. I do not like it when blame is placed on someone innocent or an innocent establishment when someone else is getting away with things. I don't like that shit. And I'll do everything in my power to spread awareness or educate on things like that. So no, it is not the fault of the establishment that failed your son or daughter. It is not the fault of the program that failed to help them. It is because the addict themselves have never made up their mind. They have not yet made up their mind that they want to let that establishment help them. That is what it is. That they want to let their family love them again. They want to let their relationship love them. They want to open themselves to learn how to love themselves. All of that has to work together. So if you ever hear anything like that, no. It's not anyone else's fault. It's not, oh, well, they failed to help her. No one's fault outside of that individual. It is when he or she makes up their own individual mind that everything in this world, they're going to use it to grow, to educate themselves, to make a positive out of their life, and to change their lives with. When they decide that they will take everything in this world and make themselves better, that is when changes will occur. But until they do, and they're surrounded by good friends, maybe a good relationship partner, good establishments wanting to offer them help, programs wanting to offer them help. They're around good, positive people, and I've seen it time and time again, and an addict just right and left, throwing away all the family love, all the opportunities, wasting money, wasting resources, blowing relationships apart. Everything that was good and positive in their life, it has been torn to shreds. I've seen it. They just throw it away right and left. I've seen it. So let's keep our perspective straight on that. It will be when the addict decides they have fucking had enough and they want to put all of these wonderful opportunities that have been given to them to good use. And when they want to not take their family for granted anymore, not take their relationship or husbands and wives for granted anymore, their children, whatever's going on. It'll be when they decide, let's put the responsibility back where it belongs. Because that's where it fucking belongs. Okay? Just wanted to say that, guys. I'll have more for you soon. Thank you so much.